July the 26th, 2024. Guys, you're looking at a 2 p.m. update of our tropics. This is from Sky Tower down in Florida. And we've got a 20% chance of development. What has happened over the last few weeks, these hurricanes, they'll kind of have these cycles where they spin up and they'll take a break for a week or two. And we're getting a break in the Saharan sand layer. Anyway, this path that they're looking at shows it coming pretty straight, headed west with a little bit of north in there. And so you've got this edge here showing coming into central Florida. This edge here would take it into the Gulf of Mexico. It's still out there about a week or so, and we're going to have to keep an eye on it. They're saying that after a long stretch of inactivity, we're now keeping an eye on one spot in the Atlantic with a chance of formation in the next week. July the 26th, 2024. Guys, you're looking at the latest from Fox Hurricane down in Florida, and you're looking at the 2 p.m. update. We've got a 20% chance right now of development over the next week, and it's showing the probable path coming across the Windward Islands, kind of centering San Juan and possibly Cuba. But the outer, we know it's going to change some, but the outer sections of this particular pattern showing it's either coming into Florida from the Atlantic or coming down into the Gulf of Mexico. This is where the storm is located now, and they're saying that after a long stretch of inactivity, we are now keeping an eye on the one spot in the Atlantic with a chance of formation in the next week. A tropical wave in the central tropical Atlantic will interact with an approaching area of disturbed weather over the next few days. As this disturbance approaches the Lesser Antilles during the early to middle part of next week, it will have a small opportunity to organize into a tropical depression or a tropical storm. The waters have heated back up. We tracked Tropical Storm Burl for well over a week, guys, and everything's been fairly quiet since then, but it's changing. Now, this is an interesting map. It's talking about August, and August is always notorious for some of the strong hurricanes, especially getting into the end of it. But they're saying August as named storms become possible across the entire basin with the highest likelihood near the Caribbean islands. This is based on data from 1944 up until 1920. They're looking at, not 2020, not 1920. Central Atlantic in this area and coming into the Caribbean from here. Western Atlantic up in this area you see some, but this is the hottest spot right there, most likely. You can see in the coloring there, but it is possible all the way into the Gulf of Mexico. And they're adding in that the Saharan dust, among other factors, continues to keep the remainder of the Atlantic quiet for now. Again, the heat is building up because we haven't had much activity there, and we're getting into hotter parts of the summer. Just because we had some cloud cover, and we're actually getting light rain now here in central Mississippi at 5:18 p.m., that does not mean the heat will not return, but it also does not mean that the heat has not been in many other places like the Atlantic and the Caribbean and the Gulf itself. Now, this was just about an hour ago, but they're showing the enhanced satellite images of where the Saharan sand layer is. Here's where the storm they're talking about is located in this area, and you see a gap right here. This will blow in. We're already starting. If you look at it closer, it's already in the Gulf in some places and circulating around the Gulf states. But this gap is what they're thinking it may take advantage of right there. I just wanted to point this out, guys, not a long, drawn-out video, that we are cranking back up into the hottest part of the summer and the largest chance of these storms. Don't let your guard down, but by this time next week, we'll know a lot more about the storm if it does form. Again, 20% chance. Not a lot out there to keep it from forming right now, especially the Saharan sand. And we're still in the neutral phase between La Nina and El Nino. And so it's not really going either way when you're in the neutral zone. Let me say this. In the video we did yesterday, and we talked about it a few times, even on Paul's show last night, is the Three Gorges Dam. They had a major hurricane come in there, did a lot of damage, And when it come across Taiwan, they're talking about 50 or 60 inches of rain. Now it's in China on top of all the other rain they're having and all the flooded dams. But we'll be watching that. Sometimes it's hard to get info out of China. Watch the weather stations there, things like that. But guys, you got 400 million people that could be affected if that dam either blows out or overflows and collapses. Just an overflow event would be catastrophic because it's already releasing so much water that it's not that much difference between the high side of the dam and the downstream side of it. So keep your eyes on that. I think that a lot of the world's getting woken up, guys. It's making them think about things. Got folks in Houston that are just now getting power back on. Think about that. That's the way it was with us here in Katrina. You get a lot of time to think about things. Guys, if we got another hurricane coming into the Gulf, possibly, you need to be prepared. Make sure you've got plenty of water. Make sure you have, if you don't have anything else, as far as solar panels and things that mount on your house, there are generators, guys, and we have them on our website, and that you can just sit in the garage, and when it's time to use them, pull it out of the carport, unfold the panels, and give yourself a break on your at least you will have some electricity throughout the day. If it's enough power, you can run an air conditioner from it. But just think about that. Houston, you got a lesson that we got during Katrina. You never know how long it will take for that power to come back on. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.